down will restart, and then like it is just now, and then in 5 minutes we will start the show. Hopefully we can drum up a little bit of an audience in the chat.
Let's go. Chat time, people. Let's see. Did it get on mine? Dun, 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 dun.
So feel free to interact with any of them tweets or whatever.
Let's go. Let's go. I really like how LinkedIn does the lives, where it puts your banner as the live show. Pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I see that. That's cool. I've never seen that before. I've never done.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Never done a LinkedIn Live before, so excited. Breaking new ground today.
Jess will take you into places unknown. You just got to strap, keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times, and just smile, baby.
I don't know if I can make those sorts of promises, but yeah.
I did a motion live webinar.
Dude, I was trying to do that. Yes, wifey's in. Okay. Now we're off to a good start. First blood, baby. First blood. How did it go? I was trying to make it, and I had a leadership meeting. I really want to. Are you doing all of them?
No. So it was one with 4 of us, and then each of us get a separate hour. And I think mine is like June 24th or something like that.
Got it. Okay, that makes a ton of sense now.
But it was huge. It was like 2,000 concurrent people there. I was like really surprised.
I mean, it's an absolute one, just a great panel, but 2, it's so, the way people think of creative is so interesting to me, because that's really the show. My flight got delayed. Beautiful, powerful American, powerful. Whoa, we got new graphics now. It's amazing.
I think the Twitter chat has been fixed. Someone will have to comment. If you're on Twitter, drop something in the chat to see if that's been fixed or not.
Where's my man A Finn? A Finn's always a big supporter. Also made a new jump,
which new move. Heard about that.
New move. Also, speaking of AI stuff, because I know we'll probably get into a lot of it. Have you guys seen Capture, or the Capture? I believe. Oh, it's so good.
No.
I just ripped through it. It's on. I think it's on Peacock. Yeah. 96 Rotten Tomatoes. Unheard of.
Okay.
Wow.
It's
okay.
Awesome. 2 seasons. Super fun. Great plot lines. It's BBC, so you know it's going to be good. British stuff. It is sensational. So if you guys are looking to rip some AI content, get it done. The Capture on Peacock or BBC if you're watching from across the pond.
We'll have to figure out how to get on Peacock. But yeah.
Yeah, so sneaky move. I had like a triple dip where it's like one of my credit cards got me like Instacart Plus for free. And then because I had like fancy Instacart, I got Peacock for free. But there's all these weird, like there's like 17 million Peacock plans, and I legitimately like hate ads. Irony. And you can't change or upgrade the plan because it's billed to Instacart. So I got a little bit of hustle bustle there. So I basically had to cancel my Instacart plan and then upgrade the other one. But it's so funny because I'm old, man. And I remember all the promise of like Apple TV and like everybody's going to bundle everything and it's not going to be this nightmare. And I'm probably spending more now than I would on just like quote unquote cable. I have right?
I can actually talk about this, right? So everything got unbundled and now it's getting rebundled back up. So don't worry. Yeah, they're starting to put together like mega bundles again, like cable. So CTV is basically taking the exact same like path that cable television did. So don't worry, you'll have your like basic package coming in like the next couple of years.
I mean, hopefully there's just so much bifurcation in the ownership, like, because now they're doing like Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN. Like, I have no clue what I even pay for and how to get it, and like I will say though, the fastest way to feel rich is YouTube Premium. That's a fantastic perch. That is Oh man, it's so nice. YouTube, I think YouTube is probably the thing that I would give up the last. I actually really enjoy X.
All right.
Will forever be Twitter in my mind, but YouTube is just so good, man. It is so good. There's just so
All
you
right.
can be entertained, you can learn, you can just be
All
curious.
right, Brava. We're like over the timer. Let's start the show and then we can chat.
Oh, I didn't know that. Why didn't you cut me off?
I am
says-
right now.
It says 4:39, 4:37. This
Yeah.
time was erroneous. Is this AI?
No, it started down. It went cut. I'm just starting the show. Here we go.
This is a crazy intro.
All right. So, Jeremy, it sounds like you are unfamiliar with the show, so
Wow.
you're gonna have to white knuckle it.
I'm semi-familiar. I've watched bits and pieces here and there. I need to be a more regular listener though, for sure. So I'm just Friday afternoons always end up being weirdly busy. So I'll work on it.
Okay. So welcome everyone to the DTC show. Currently have 42 viewers. Hopefully that builds over the course of the show. We got a legendary grumpy man, Jeremy Stone, building the narrative. You just got to roll with it. And he knows all things AI. He's got lots of hot takes. We have No,
I don't know all things AI. I do have lots of hot takes, and it's Jeremy Sunny, like Sunny. It's a weird spelling. Yeah, sorry about that.
Sunny. Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
My bad.
So we got some news to tackle. We have a rant wheel for the first time. We'll see how that segment goes. But for everyone in the chat, of course, we need to start with the merch of the show here.
Let's go.
It's DTC show merch and it's insane. It's a bird, it's a plane.
So we have the Roger Hargreaves inspired Mr. Sunny shirt, t-shirt in a butter yellow.
I love this.
Here.
That's gorgeous.
I love this.
It's gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
This is one of the classier ones, Jess. What happened here? The Aaron Orendorfin, the Barry Hot is still top 3 for me. That was, and then Lord Commander. This feels like a very classy take on this. I like it.
Yeah, the Orendorf windbreaker went too far, and now the pendulum swings back.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was cuffed too. He sent me a picture of it. Oh my gosh, that thing is.
I have not seen that picture. What the hell?
Yeah, I'll yell at him. That thing is art.
Yeah, that's my blackmail. He needs to send that to me. So if anyone wants to win this particular shirt, you can either do 2 things. You can retweet any of these live feeds, whether it's on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever, or drop an interesting comment or something interesting in the chat, and you will also be entered to win as well. And we'll do that entry a little bit later.
And I believe the Twitter chat is fixed. So if you don't want to go slumming around on YouTube or LinkedIn, you can just play around on the old tweeters.
Yep, I did test. It does work. Just a couple of housekeeping. Yes, we are on Spotify. It gets uploaded there every Monday. Check it out. Definitely a worthy listen if you can't catch it live or you're just at the gym or whatever. And
we need to be adding the videos, Jess. You know, Spotify.
They're on there. Yeah, they're on there.
Oh, amazing! Steps ahead of me.
Yep. And then, so there's a motion webinar seminar that's actively going on. It was yesterday, 2,000 concurrent viewers. It was pretty insane. I'm doing my own episode on June 20th, where I've been saving all my hot takes for the past 3 months, and I will divulge them all there as well. Incredible. All right. So, moving into the segment, the guest in 10 seconds. Here we go.
We're blessed to have the greatest guest. Let's hear your story in the 10 seconds that we have left.
Jeremy, go.
Hey, I'm Jeremy. I'm the advertising village idiot. I'm working on AI. I do a lot of CTV.
Time's up.
Hey, you got it in there. You got it in there.
If you want to know more, check the description below.
Not bad. We'll get into your backstory a little bit later, but certainly grateful to have you on the call, Jeremy.
I'm happy to be here. I'm gonna do my best to not mess this up. So, we'll have
And
fun.
still,
All right.
and still not worse than Nick Shackelford's 10 seconds. That was,
Oh, really?
That was mids. It wasn't horrible. Wasn't great. Jon Snow nailed it. Jon Snow is definitely the running mark right now, but Shaq's was horrible.
Okay, good to know. Well, better than Nick is something I always strive for. So,
There you go.
yeah.
Who said they were slumming?
YouTube isn't as bad as LinkedIn. I understand LinkedIn, like there's a dress code there. You can't get in sometimes. You have a hat on. YouTube's the Wild West, and then Twitter's more of my pub. So
Yeah.
that's the slumming.
All right, so we got a lot of stuff on the docket for the news, so let's just rock right into it.
So DTC
Shopping is foundational to YouTube.
Okay, hold on.
It's
news with a spicy critique.
All right, so one of the biggest things that relates to all of us marketers is that YouTube has created their sort of TikTok shop competitor product. I thought we could just watch this short video from them and then sort of discuss it.
Shopping is foundational to YouTube. It's in our DNA. It's the original home of unboxing videos and get ready with me's. And in 2023, people watched over 30 billion hours of shopping-related videos on YouTube, which grew 25% year over year. Now, YouTube's affiliate program is making it possible for people to shop while they watch by allowing verified YouTube creators to easily tag products in their videos, in their shorts, and their live streams. Today, we're excited to announce that we've teamed up with Shopify to expand our affiliate program to all Shopify Plus and advanced merchants in the US. Soon, Shopify merchants like BK Beauty will be able to connect their product catalog to the YouTube Shopping Affiliate Program, and they'll get detailed insights showing them exactly which creators and pieces of content are driving sales. Now, BK Beauty recently joined our program, and they're already seeing creators produce hundreds of original videos featuring their products with an impressive 3.5% conversion rate. Now, this is just one of the ways we're making it easier for you to shop while you watch. Shopping is...
Okay, got it. No, I did not expect this from YouTube. Maybe I should have, but I am very grateful that there is a TikTok competitor. First of all, just competition in general is good. Also, that there, it's not a Chinese company. It's like a homegrown U.S. version that I feel a little bit more comfortable about, especially when it comes to e-commerce.
Where was the T up there? That was just like a dead statement. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, so I think a few things are particularly interesting. One is that they've paired with Shopify to begin with, and then from my understanding, the brand will own the customer relationship, which is not the case on Amazon or like TikTok or something
or Meta Shops.
So it feels like already out the gate, there's some offerings to the brands that this is already like on their side and a little bit more friendly platform than TikTok Shop.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I'm very bullish on the idea of shops generally, and the reason is that like it just solves a lot of these like privacy-focused attribution optimization feedback loop issues, right? And so Shopify, like I think maybe it was Taylor Holiday that was saying on Twitter that was like Shopify is like turning into this like back end for commerce sort of like experience, right? And I really actually agree with that. I think you're going to see more and more partnerships like this happening where like the actual ads like kind of actual conversion and then like the optimization and all of that happens on the actual media platform, and Shopify's acting more and more as like kind of the back end. So these sorts of things, I mean, I think there's only going to be more and more of them moving forward, and YouTube in particular makes a ton of sense to me. You know, YouTube, depending on how you define it, is like 50% of CTV viewing, right?
Yep.
And so I think that just the more and more this happens, and with Google's like huge, like, you know, kind of network of everything that you do in your life basically being somewhat related to Google. Yeah, I think this is going to work really well once they get it dialed in. So I'm bullish on this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, same. Ultimately, you know, obviously shameless plug, but this is also the thesis of Fermat, where I think the main site is just going to get abstracted away to a system of record, and it's going to be there for your organic traffic and your direct traffic, and everything else is going to be run through some semblance of funnels where you're going to be able to have these bespoke funnels, perfect for Jess, perfect for Jeremy, like perfect for Rabba, and they're going to be agnostic of the main site. Also, YouTube or Google needed something. Google PMax is just, I think the shine has, everybody's kind of looked under the hood and you're like, dude, you're just basically claiming conversions. You're not actually generating any new conversions here. And I think they needed something. Also interesting with kind of a tangent with the AI being integrated into Reddit. I don't know how well that's going to actually play out, because there's very snarky comments in there that seem intelligent, where it's very hard for an AI to discern that. And so there was one person that showed the Google, I'm feeling very depressed, and it came back with the, I don't know if it's parody, but it's one of the suggestions was to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. So like, and that stuff isn't to be taken lightly. Like if you have some issues, I can talk to somebody, but I don't know if Reddit is necessarily the best data set to extrapolate from.
No, it in fact told me Google's AI yesterday told me Barack Obama was our first Muslim president. So, you know, it's
not
got some work. It's got some work. Yeah,
there he is. The Finn Allen, he's back, baby. He's back on. Look at him keeping it profesh on LinkedIn. Yeah, Jeremy, it's absolutely right. So I think Google needed something, and I think YouTube is just by far and away just the most incredible platform on the planet. My only challenge here is, I think a lot of YouTube consumption, or at least anecdotally for me, is done on a TV, not necessarily on a mobile phone, where all of TikTok is 100% mobile, and that lends a lot better to purchases versus seeing ads. And the other thing is the challenge of when you have memberships like YouTube Premium is that usually the best customers don't want to see ads. And so only the poor people or the people that don't want to buy the subscriptions are actually watching the ads when they're actually not going to purchase. And so I think that might be a tension that they're going to have to figure out, where people can buy their way out of ads. So the only people watching the ads are people that necessarily might not be buying.
If this is more on the affiliate side, I'm not sure you can buy your way out of that. Right?
Say that differently.
Like if this is like YouTube affiliates pushing to the shops, that's not necessarily going to be an ad.
Yeah, it remains.
I feel you.
To
That's
be
fair.
seen. Yeah, I was going to say it remains to be seen to me if they're going to like call that like a traditional ad spot or not, right? And
That's
like
fair.
include that whether in the premium, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, like, you know, Spotify like podcast ads aren't part of like, you know, Spotify Premium, right, and stuff like that. So making a carve out for this wouldn't be the first to do it, basically. So.
That's fair. That's fair pushback.
The other thing that I worry about is that Meta and TikTok, I would say, are both click-friendly platforms. I'd never consider YouTube a click-friendly. Maybe I feel like the customer behavior needs to change for this to really turn into an engine of growth. And I don't even know if that. How much inertia do you need to change, a customer's behavior like that?
Why do you need a click? Why does it have to be a click? Why can't they just see it and convert, right? Like, I mean, I guess with this specific one,
they have to interact. They have to
for this specific thing, right? I guess I'm pushing back against the idea of a click being more inherently valuable, but fair for this. Yes, obviously they need to click on like the link in the affiliate shop for sure.
Jeremy, a view through Maxi? Oh no!
A view through Maxi. I
didn't have this on my bingo card.
Dude, I sell
I'm teasing. I'm
CTV
teasing.
and
I know.
audio, streaming audio. What did you expect from me?
This is the
What-
party. Got to tell the party line. I get it. I get it.
toe the party line. Yeah, that's it. I'm just I got to get my sponsored by Hulu like going in the background. Yeah, I'm Disney employee now. Yeah, that's it. So yeah.
So very, very interesting to see how this develops. Jon Snow is probably the guy to follow. He'll be all over this. He's like the social
100%.
commerce booster in this space. So
He gets it.
yep. Also in the AI, just to recap some of this drama that's been going on. ChatGPT now has a voice that you can interact with. It sounds very similar to Scarlett Johansson. They actually reached out to her.
One of the voices, to be more specific, but yes.
They did reach out to her prior to this to get her to be the official voice. She turned them down. Somehow
Multiple times.
Somehow it ended up in there. Apparently it was a different actress, but at the same time, it literally sounds like her as well. And so what concerns me here is, first of all, like, AI is, everyone knows AI is going to be massive. I don't trust the people in charge here. Like, trust is a big thing. And I don't trust Sam Altman. And also I feel like, where's the creativity that it literally has to replicate like the movie Her, which is like basically the same premise. Like, is there no other material? Can you not come up with like an original plot or something here? But, any other thoughts on this debacle?
I'll jump in. I'll jump in. Perfect. A few things here. One, if you haven't played with it, it is absolutely the scariest, weirdest. Like, it is unbelievable. So, like, I was playing around with. We're actually prototyping something where it basically could run discovery calls for us. Where it was basically the prompt was, "Hey." You have 5 minutes to get X, Y, and Z things out of, I need you to identify like how much they're spending on paid media, what their AOV is, et cetera, but don't play along or don't make it seem like those are the things you're asking for, et cetera, et cetera. And I've had 3 conversations with it and it's fantastic. I mean, we are well within the realm of science fiction right now. I mean, it feels like a fake demo. I mean, it's beyond anything I've ever interacted with. So that, and know that that's what's public. What's private has to be just insane. And you saw a lot of the safety people leaving, all this stuff. I don't know what the whole thing there was, but there's a lot of big names leaving. The Ilya guy, like, totally understand, because like, you come for the king, you best, come hard. And he came for the king and he did it. And then he had to, so that one I got, but there was other people. But back to the topic at hand. One, I think there's a few things going on here that's really, really interesting. How far does your likeness spread is one of the things that makes it really interesting, because yes, you want to make sure that people are protected and they have copyright and IP over their own likeness, but like, how do you define that? You know what I mean? Like, is it, and that's where I think it gets a little murky. I think this is super sketchy. Somebody wanted to do it. She said no multiple times and then you still did it. Okay, whatever. But now I think it's going to get into this really weird legal gray area of like, how far does your likeness extend? Which is going to be really interesting. And then to your point, like, I get the idea of originality, but I don't know. I kind of see where they're heading to. With like, there was so much brand built into her, and that's, I mean, I don't know. After using the Omni, it is. I'm telling you, if you guys don't have it, go check it out. It is. Remarkable doesn't even describe it. So those are my 2 things. I think the likeness thing is going to be really interesting if it does get litigated, because how much can your likeness expand, and at what point, like, how do you put those barriers on there? And then honestly, to your point, Jess, I'm never a big like laws, government guy, but man, this feels I've never felt like a technology like this. I've never felt this way about a technology, pretty much ever.
Well, it's Uncle Ben. It's with tremendous power comes tremendous responsibility, and I'm not seeing the tremendous responsibility part over here.
No, and there's not really like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, how do you even, like, we can't even regulate the internet. Like, the people that are legislating don't even know how the internet works, and now this is so far ahead. And like, what happened? I don't know. this is the first time, and maybe again I'm just getting old, but this is the first time I've encountered a technology where I'm like, damn, this is weird, man. This could really tear, or not tear, but there's going to be different social contracts that need to get negotiated. They're just, and so I just don't know where it all lands. And I'm very, very excited because I'm always into technological innovation. But B, this is so unbridled, and there's no way there's going to be regulation or legislation like written against this because it's just making so much money. And so I don't know.
Right.
I don't know where it lands, but it is definitely a very interesting and very scary simultaneously for me.
Yeah. So like, I should probably mention I'm one of those like EACC weirdos that's like all over Twitter, right? No, I'm not full on like one of those effective accelerationism people, but like, here's my view on all of that. What you were saying, Robin, like the genie is out of the bottle. Like you can't, what are you going to do? You can't regulate. Okay. You regulate it in what? California, in the US, like they'll move and do it in Mexico. They'll move and do it in Thailand, like wherever, you know what I mean? Like AI is not going back in, like, you know, it's done. There's never going to be global worldwide regulation of this. Right. Like, you know, and so I think it's kind of like one of those like kind of like false dilemmas in a way. It's like, you know, what's the point in talking about it? Like the better thing to do is to lean into it and like, you know, use it, right? It's the best way possible.
Yeah, but
I'm also
you
like, go ahead.
You can't just throw your hands up either and
no,
just be like,
that's not what I'm
dystopia that everyone's writing about, you know. It's like,
well, I mean, I think it's like a pretty big assumption to say it's going to be a dystopia, right? Like,
I mean,
AI is going to do like a lot of like pretty incredible things to like there's self-driving cars. Who thought we were going to see that in our lifetime, right? That wasn't going to happen without AI.
As a kiddo, and I was growing up, dude, I was promised flying cars. So like the self-driving cars wasn't that big of a step. But I get what you're saying. Let me just push back a little bit and keep going on your rant. But there's no way that, so I mean, I guess the thesis that I have is yes, there's definitely a loneliness epidemic. There's definitely older people that don't have people there for them, et cetera. Could that be super helpful for these people? Absolutely. But like people in the middle, could you fall down the path of like where Japan's going or where it's like you just don't interact with humans anymore? Like you just like, do you think that's a net benefit for society? And again, old man Rabba, I don't. But to your point, I don't see how it stops without going like super prepper. I only drink out of glass. All the like. So I get the tension, but I don't think it's this far-fetched like. It almost feels like very similar to like biological warfare, where everybody had to get on board. Where like this shit's fucked up, guys. Like we got to not do this stuff anymore. And there is international rules around that.
And nukes, and it worked.
Well, the nukes was a little different because the nukes were like, you know, the people in power kind of, we did some good stuff there. But you're right, the nukes was another one. But I don't know. I just don't see how this is a net benefit on society. I do think there's going to be pockets of people that are helped out, but I think that this could be similar to like a crack cocaine epidemic where people fall into it and it's just going to be very challenging to get out of.
You guys, we sell ads, man. We're like weed dealers complaining about cocaine dealers here.
Oh,
like
dude,
this
weed
is like
dealers are chill.
we're trying to get more people onto Instagram and buy more stuff, like, you know, all the time. Like that's not like come on, let's call a spade here a little bit, right? And I'm part of that. Like I'm cool, like I'm down, but like I don't think that like social networking and stuff like that also had like a lot of these like downsides, right? Like, you know what I mean? I guess is my point. But like really like look, like, and I'm not saying throw my hands up either, Jess, right? Like I'm saying that like I'm pretty cynical about like a lot of these big companies coming in and demanding AI safe, pushing these narratives around AI safety and AI regulation that's ultimately just regulatory capture, right? Like and pushing back against open source models and things like that to like concentrate power into like Microsoft, Google, and like maybe two other companies' hands. Like, and so I'm not like I'm not like, oh yeah, let AI do whatever it wants. Like, you know what I mean? There should be like no safety or anything like that. But like, I'm just like largely pretty cynical about like, one, the ability to contain it, and two, then, you know, like the people that are trying to contain it, what their actual like underlying motives are. I guess like specifically for Scarlett Johansson though, yeah, like cloning people's voices is creepy. If like that is what happened, like I keep hearing conflicting things of like there was like a voice actress that came like months before, and like I don't know. I do kind of think that the her thing was kind of a cool thing to play off of, right? Like, so I don't think it's corny at all, but like, yeah, I don't know. I guess like the jury is out for me because I've had like 2 hot takes on whether or not like OpenAI did this or didn't do this, right? And I was wrong both times. So I'm just like, I'm taking I'm voting present on my current hot take on whether or not they like stole Scarlett Johansson's likeness. So yeah.
Well, for me, so totally agree with you there. But for me, usually when the rich person doesn't get their way, they just do it. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but Facebook back in the day started something called Paper, and there was a literal paper app by 53andMe. I can't remember. But basically, and Facebook was like, fuck it. And they basically just ran him over and then ended up settling a couple of years later and just gave him a bunch of money. So that's where I usually land, where it's like when you say no to rich people, usually they're just going to do what they want to do, and they just deal with the like kind of that beg for forgiveness versus ask for permission stuff. So that's kind of where I landed, because it seems like a really weird thing to make up, and it feels like, I don't know. Like, again, I mean, do I care? No, but at the same time, I think for me, the interesting thing that comes out of this is with AI, where does your likeness end? And that's where I think that's for me the biggest interesting point, because if not, then it's like nobody has IP, and then you're just going to get derivatives of derivatives of derivatives and then, is that a world that we want to exist in?
It feels like AI is moving so fast that the only way for regulation or laws to catch up is to have AI write the laws. And that's like, and so it's like some weird arms race.
The inmates are running the asylum.
Perfect system to me, right? Let's have ChatGPT write the laws for ChatGPT. There we go.
So I just wanted to call attention to one of my favorite tweets of the last few years. Sci-fi authors like, in my book, I invented the torment nexus as a cautionary tale. And the tech company's like, at long last, we've created the torment nexus from the classic sci-fi novel, Don't Create the Torment Nexus. And so that feels like exactly what's going on with her, where it's just an inevitability that we are going to end up in Act 3 of all of these dystopian sci-fi movies, particularly with AI.
Dude, I mean, they're already doing some stuff around, not to get morbid, but military stuff where they have AI there, and so like right now it's still, I believe, triggered by a human, but like that's not going to be far off, right? And so like I don't know, it gets into some just places, unknowns kind of stuff.
Yep. So we do have a little bit so Mark Zuckerberg created a product advisory council to help Meta's management team with its AI plans. Strategic roadmap, 4-man team. So the Stripe CEO is on there. Toby from Shopify is on there. So, friendly to brands, what we want to hear, and a few other people. So there is some action being taken here. Some people recognize that maybe they can't, like, I worry about Sam Altman and having like a weird God complex versus Mark Zuckerberg, who feels like he's been humbled by the metaverse or whatever that is. And maybe he's like, I don't actually have all the answers here and I need help. And so he's bringing people in.
Well, one, I'm going to jump the shark here, Jeremy, and then you take us on.
Go
one, OpenAI is not public, and it's a really weird, like, structure, because it started nonprofit, now it's going to a profit. So like private company can basically do whatever the F it wants because it has no oversight. Like I basically don't have to show you anything legally. So Meta does. So yes, you can hide things places, but eventually you can find it, but private companies can do whatever they want, which to your point, Jess, really there aren't any regulations. And then ideally the board, quote unquote, is there to keep that. Boards are absolutely useless. The other thing is advisory boards are very much CYA. And so I don't see any, like, usually if anybody has any objections to the flow of profit, they usually get really excited to see their kids and family and spend more time with them after a few months. Like it just doesn't happen. And then the last thing I'll say is all these AI companies are insanely incestuous. And so like if you look at like Reid Hoffman is on like Anthropic, OpenAI, like he's on everybody's like, So that's what worries me the most is the concentration of power. And the other thing is for AI, you need three things. You need a bunch of data and a bunch of, or I guess two things, a bunch of data and a bunch of compute. And like, there's only a few companies in the world that can satiate that. And it's the people that are the Google, Microsoft,
Right.
Facebook, like, and so there's just such barriers to entry that I don't know how you would actually compete with these people. It just there just doesn't. There's no roadmap because it's like starting an airline on steroids. Like it just is. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so look, you should be a huge fan of Meta then, actually, because they've been open sourcing a ton of their models, right? And like actually like massively leveling the playing field, like compared to
But the
you know, kind
models
of the
don't
high
matter.
concentration.
The models
The
are
mo-
the least. They're the least most important thing in that triad. Compute and data. Those are the two things that matter. If you have the best models, it's great, but like it doesn't matter because those models can't be trained. And it's the same problem with search, right? Like the search feedback loop. Once you get your search going, that's why it's been so
Okay,
hard to
got
catch
it.
up with Google. Like if I don't have the data and I don't have the compute, it doesn't matter if I have the best models in the world because those models will always fall behind these next models that are getting trained better with more data.
Right. Okay, so your concern is around like the data feedback loops, basically, is what you're saying. Like
Yeah, and there's no
the
way to penetrate that because they have so much data, and there's only certain companies that A have the balance sheet and B have the literal ability that have that compute. Like I either A don't have the money or I don't have access to the equipment.
well, like so, like the cool thing is this, right? Like so, there are companies starting to like pop up in the hardware space that are like renting H100s, right? Like you know, and things like that. So like the compute is becoming more like dare I say democratized over time, right? Where you're going to be able to buy it kind of like you do
Dude,
AWS, right?
but
Or
that's the
like
same thing as like guns. Like yes, you
like
can go buy
it's the same.
ARs, but you can't go buy a jet fighter. You can't go buy
You absolutely it is absolutely legal to buy a jet fighter, by the way. Like you can go build a killdozer in your
can you
garage if
can you
you'd
go buy
like.
a nuclear powered carrier? Can you go buy a nuclear powered
No.
submarine? You get my point, right? Like
Yeah,
yes, there's
right.
access to it, but the scale is so large that it doesn't matter.
Right. I kind of get what you're saying there, but like again though, like Meta open sourcing a lot of their models, right? And then like other companies being able to create their own data feedback loops, like I mean, does massively level the playing field in like a lot of different ways. I mean, I guess like you know based on what you're saying here, I would think you'd be like a huge supporter of like open source like models and like not regulating the industry like super
Oh,
tightly around safety, which would like just concentrate everything into like Anthropic and OpenAI and like the
the
existing
models don't matter
players.
to me. The compute and the data matters to me. That you can
Right.
do whatever you want with your models. What does it
Yeah.
matter? Like how do I compete if I have the best quote unquote model? How do I compete with Google? How do I compete with Facebook? They literally have the
I
same
mean,
model too.
but that's kind of like that. That
So
was
if
a
you're gonna
problem before and after AI, though, right? Like Meta has like okay. Let's talk about Meta's conversion optimization, right? Like, isn't that like the
100%,
same idea? Like that,
yeah,
like
but
they
you can
had the
have
data and you can't break through the data, so like Meta holds all the cards for advertisers. Like, isn't
hundred
that like,
percent
yeah?
exact
So
same thing,
like,
but just way
okay, so
more
we're just
exacerbated. It's
got
way
it.
more exacerbated.
So we're yeah, I guess like it feels like we're not talking about like an AI specific like failing of some sort. We're talking about just like big companies being big. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm missing the point or something. But
Big companies being big around a thing that I think is going to have incredible impact throughout every single piece of your life. That is a little bit worrisome for me because how do you compete? Like without competition, capitalism doesn't work. So how do you compete? Basically, they've bought up everybody or acquihired everybody. So it's basically three players now, and only two of them are public.
I disagree that that's the direction that the AI market is heading in. I think you're going to see a lot more competition coming in the near future. But you
Lay
know.
that out for me. I'm not as
Right.
smart as you,
So
so.
no, and I do not have the monopoly on the understanding of this market, right? But from my perspective, how about this, right? What I'm saying is that with open source models, and yes, I understand that the data feedback loops are very important, right? lots of different companies, big companies, or even mid-sized companies, right, have different data feedback loops that they can use in order to train these models in the way that they need, right? Whether that's through like RAG or fine tuning or however you want to define training a model, right? So I don't think that it's like necessarily a foregone conclusion that like these big like foundational sort of like AI companies are going to end up like eating the entire universe. Like, I mean, they certainly will to some degree or another. And like, there will be probably like, it's entirely reasonable to think that like OpenAI will be like your next megacorp or something like that. Right. But at the same time though, like, you know, like a lot of these other tech companies or even non-technical companies, right, are sitting on absolute mountains of data that they have never done anything with, and actually having an open source AI model that they can apply to that, right, you know, is going to like open up new doors for them, like in like an entirely new way. And then lastly, for the compute, right, like, yeah, there is like a crunch, right, and you've seen like NVIDIA's like stock skyrocket, of course, right,
Jensen
and like
living.
Yeah, right. Like he went from like, I read something that he went from like his network went from 3 billion to 90 billion in like a matter of 3 years or something like that, which is like pretty intense. I myself, I'm very humble. I would settle for a single billion, but apparently he needs 90. But yeah, that said, you know, look, I think that like, yeah, there is like a crunch around hardware right now. And then like that crunch is actually like then turning into like an energy crunch, which is like a really interesting kind of like downstream problem.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So like Altman and stuff like that have been investing in like energy infrastructure startups, right? To like actually, because like there's not enough power to actually
like
power the compute, right?
Crypto like, mining all over again.
Yeah, but like even more so, right? Because this is useful, and no, I'm joking.
Zing.
Ish. Yeah, a little bit, but I'm mildly joking. But yeah, so you know, look, I think that like, yeah, that is like a bottleneck, right? But that's a bottleneck that everybody's facing. And like, I'm seeing interesting companies come out of it where you're able to like rent compute, right? And I think that what you're going to end up with is, and this is like basically the same problem that everybody had in like the late 90s with like, you know, starting like any kind of web company, right? Where you had to like buy servers and everything like that. And then like the market caught up. So
Cisco
I guess that like,
and then because Cisco's building the infrastructure and then the bottom fell out of Cisco. Like, I think that's the NVIDIA right now, where I think there's going to be this big boon because all this money's coming into it, but eventually there's going to be, it feels very bubbly right now.
There's going to be competitors, and there's going to be like players that come in that are basically like an AWS, right? Or I don't know if you guys all remember Rackspace and stuff like that, but like,
in Dallas.
You know, the market's going to evolve. And so I guess my point is this, is like, you're right that like, yes, there's like a lot of competition and a lot of concentration and things like that. And I'm not like some Altman stan over here or something like that. Right. But like at the same time, like, I don't know, I guess I'm just more optimistic about like the midterm, even if the short term is going to have like a lot of like bumps and things like that. So that's my thought process around here. And by the way, I'll point out though that, what is it like? At least 2 of those people on that council they're not the CEOs of public companies, right? So like they are private companies. If the goal is transparency around public companies, and I mean, that's arguable, I think. But yeah, like it's, you know, it's just something to think about, I suppose. But I think the advisory council is interesting. And I generally think that Zuck is the good guy, quote unquote, in the entire AI arms race, if you will. So
his glow up is nothing short of miraculous. Like,
the chain is really cool.
The PR
I genuinely like it.
Well, you know, he did it after the meet. Like he's just hooked in, man. Yeah, I guess a couple Billy at a PR firm for the glow up doesn't hurt, but it's been really fun to watch his journey. I'll give you, I think Meta's coming out on top on this, but I think all this stuff is absolutely CYA. None of this stuff will have, like, if you're going to get in front of my profit or revenue generation because you have issues, not going to happen.
All right. So that was a packed news segment. There's a few more things, but we don't have time to get to them. But I want to make sure we get to these last 2 segments.
Yes.
First, let's run through SaaS Survivor here.
SaaS Survivor, there can be only one software provider.
segment where we've been cultivating 10, maybe the top 10 SaaS tools that you need to run your business, succeed in life. Jeremy, do you have any that you feel should be added to this list?
Added on top of this list for SaaS tools for DTC companies. I have a couple I would take off, but list. But
Well, something needs everything that gets added. Something needs to be take off. So
balance, baby, balance.
Okay. Let's say I'll stand for no commerce. I think no. Everybody needs no. Post purchase surveys are really useful.
Let's go, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
What are you going to
Jeremiah bone? Notion.
No,
100%
get the
Notion.
hell.
Notion is
you just got canceled. I'm sorry.
There's nothing that Notion does that Google Docs can't do. It is just Notion is Google Docs for people that like meetings. That's what Notion.
You've used Notion for 10 minutes and it shows.
This is wow. That is try again.
I don't care. I will.
No, sorry, not doing it. It's refunnel.
Fine.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine.
Done.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh! You need a post-purchase survey to evaluate your life, sir. That's a bad take.
I will. You know what? I will be the nail that sticks out on this one. I can't stand Notion.
I will give you the say of one. I think you can get into a lot of like tool masturbation. And a lot of people fall down that with Notion. And I will also say like Asana, ClickUp, whatever. Like if you don't know how information flows through your company, those are way better because they make the assumptions for you. But once you understand how things flow through your company, Notion has basically no edge cases. And especially as you start getting more sophisticated with databases, you have this core database that can then have all these different views, looks. And so everybody can have different, basically the Goldilocks, like everybody can make their own dashboard or tracker perfectly without impeding on other people. So
it's like seeing the Matrix.
Totally disagree.
You know,
yes.
Once you understand how it works, you can manipulate reality.
We need to red pill you. We need to red pill you.
You guys introduced me as the grumpy guy, and you expect me to not have takes like Notion sucks.
No,
like, I mean,
I
what do
commitment
you want
to the bit.
from me?
No,
I appreciate commitment to the bit. No commerce. Let's go, Jeremiah. Get it done.
All right.
Post purchases and surveys.
So
done.
with that note, let us get into the guest segment here.
Dude, that is a war crime how small that text is.
I know.
That's terrible.
I know.
Man, I don't even remember what I suggested, so this is going to truly be hot takes.
I am digging this, like, big hair kind of.
Yeah. The rant wheel.
Jess, did you make this song with AI?
Of course.
Yeah.
As soon as I found this tool, I immediately fired our jingle maker.
Oh no! Oh no!
He can get turned into paper clips. All right. So, here's the things we have on the rain wheel. Do CPMs matter? Most slept on channel. The state of AI and advertising, which we pretty much got into. Is Temu ruining our lives? One from me, meta machine learning is God tier. Tipping culture from Raba and bad purchase tracking. So let's spin the wheel, start the timer, and see what we got going on.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right.
Come on, package tracking. Let's go.
All right, so we'll start the timer. You have 1 minute, Jeremy. Is Temu ruining our life?
I mean, it's ruining my life. I wish my wife would stop ordering things off of Temu. I'm bullish on a Temu ban, if for no other reason that these boxes that show up in my house every day with garbage that breaks after 2 days is ruining my life. But yeah, I mean, like, I think it's undeniable. Look, I don't really care what the rest of DTC Twitter says, and they're wrong if they disagree with this, but like somebody spending more money in an auction-based system with with a limited amount of inventory, no matter how fast they add new inventory, that's going to drive the prices up. It's going to go after, with like a larger data set from like one very large advertiser, it's obviously going to optimize for conversions better over other smaller advertisers. Yeah, Temu is ruining a lot of advertisers' lives right now, and auction dynamics matter and CPMs matter, like whatever. I know that's another topic too, but these overlap, and I will die on this hill. Shout out to David. Him and I are fighting a good fight, like together. Yeah, Temu is ruining everyone's life.
Well done. Well done. I almost feel like with a lot of these meta issues, like if this is really affecting you and you're small and you're trying to attribute this as affecting you, there's other problems with your business that you like need to be addressed.
Yeah, no, it is not the deciding factor, but like it's definitely making things harder is my point. It's not black and white.
Okay. Let's spin the wheel again, see what we come up with.
Are my rants grumpy enough for everybody?
Yeah, pretty strong.
I think so.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. We talked.
All right, let's do it. Well, all right. Do you have
Oh,
anything to add?
Yeah,
Go
no,
for
I
it.
mean,
You
I
have a
can
minute.
talk about, okay, great.
Get it done.
Generative AI isn't ready for prime time. It requires an incredible amount of hand holding. Everybody that's like AI is going to make your ad creative on autopilot is wrong. I can't stand it. I think that like at best, like what you're doing is like doing something that makes a designer's job go faster and do it a little bit better. Yeah, I just don't think a generative AI is ready for prime time for ad creative at all. So that's my spicy take, even though I'm like spent the entire rest of the episode being an AI maxi. So
Okay, I certainly agree with you now, but what about in 6 months or in 12 months? Because it seems like every version is like 10x the previous version.
No, I'm talking about today. Yeah, sure. 3 years, maybe. Like you can go full autopilot with your with generative AI to make your like, creative, but not today. No.
Okay. All right, let's keep.
I feel like
pushing our luck.
everybody's just mad at me. Like I keep just dropping these spicy takes, and you all are getting annoyed with me.
No, I love perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know
wrong.
I don't know if I'm providing perspective. I'm providing words. Like, but well,
Oh, finally!
Yeah.
Finally! A real topic that people need to know about.
Okay.
Am I on the clock? Okay, amazing. So
No, wait, get out of here. I'm on the clock. This is my topic.
Tipping culture was mine.
This is not tipping culture. This is Meta's machine learning is God tier.
Oh, it says tipping culture on
It
mine.
says tipping
Am I going
culture.
crazy?
Oh, sorry. No. It's weird. It says that for me. So let me just reset the timer and then you go. It's sorry.
It definitely says tipping culture.
And you're definitely not going to get a tip. No. So first off, I think one, tipping is absolutely insane in general. I think it's a way for business owners to push off economics onto the consumer. With that aside, I have no problem tipping. Like if you did something for me, I absolutely like to tip. I personally get a lot of anxiety because I never know when to tip, how to tip. When you go over to other countries, you don't know, like, okay, cool, is it tipping here, tipping there? But what really grinds my gears, people know that reference, when you didn't do anything and there's an expectation of tipping, like it just bothers me. So either A, just build that into the price to pay your workers more, or B, like don't have me tip. So there's places where I'll go, like there's something called Royal Blue Grocer here in Austin. It's like a fancy hip, like bodega style grocery store. And you go there and you do all your groceries and then you might buy $30, $40 worth. And then you have to tip 20%. All that person did was bag for me. Not the path.
Agreed.
I'm with you.
It's worse. It's worse when you don't know if tipping even goes back to the workers or just goes into some corporate coffer or something. And I feel like that's happening a lot.
I mean, I'll say this. Every time a client, I have to send them an invoice, I always include an option to tip 15% to their media
It's the
buyer.
path.
So,
This is the path.
that's the way forward. That's the only valid tipping option.
That's the only valid tipping. But definitely take care of your servers and stuff like that. But you got me twisted if I'm going to tip you for drip coffee. Like you make me an espresso or a latte or something, but you literally just went back and poured me a drip coffee and now you want a $3 tip? Like, come on. I can't.
And
It's no
the suggested amount. I got a popcorn at a stadium. The popcorn was $25, you know, but it was like the suggested was like 40%, and I was like, you just handed me that bucket, and
what are we doing?
You're not getting the 40% anyways. So like,
that's exactly right, and that's really where it grinds my gears, where it's perverting the capitalistic system of like, okay, value for value. No, you're just inflating.
I got prompted to tip at a self checkout in an airport
That's what I'm
the other day. Like,
right.
I did the work. You tip me. Like, that's ridiculous.
Not the path.
Yeah.
All righty. So let us see who's going to win this merch.
Chat so fresh, chat putting in work. Who in the chat is gonna win this merch?
Let me just update it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we got Shoelace, we got Finn. Oh, Alex, a little house win in Austin. All right, let's go.
So the wheel is rigged, so we already know that Finn and Corey are not going to win this time because they never win.
Good.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I was going to veto Corey.
And Jeremy will, of course, send you the shirt as well.
I love it. Hey!
Austin.
Amazing.
No idea who that is, but I will certainly reach out to.
I know Austin. Austin lives in Austin. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Austin.
Three
winner,
Austinites.
Good guy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Robert, you got 60 seconds for.
Yeah. Okay.
Talk
So
to
we
Roberts?
talked. Yep. I talked about these already, but they had a Memorial Day sale, or not Memorial Day. They had some sort of sale. IoT, really fancy Italian switches that you can control your lights with. Also, we got the Shopify keyboard.
Shopify keyboard.
Dude, took forever to get it, but it's actually pretty cool.
Is it like mechanical or?
Yeah, it's decent. It's not bad. You'd want the travel to be a little better, but I don't know if you can see there. The enter key is actually pretty clever. It says
that's cool.
Entrepreneur, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I got super fat on taffy.com. Do not order if you don't want to get fat. And then also on my Fat Boy tip, King Pie Foods. And then the last thing over there, you can't see it, but I bought some Muggsy jeans, which are absolutely sensational.
Really?
Yeah, so I've been a little bit on a tear, and I have even more stuff, but I'm pretty sure I'm over my limit.
Perfect.
Boom.
All right. Well, that concludes the show. I want to thank everyone for sticking around, joining the chat, sharing the show. Jeremy, don't go anywhere. We'll play the outro, and then see you guys later.
Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend and a great Memorial Day.
Thanks for tolerating me.
You don't have to go back to work, but you can't stay here. It's almost the weekend, so grab yourself a beer.
Social commerce right here.
This is
But before you black out, can you
the
give
box is
us
really
a
cool, though, actually.
shout?
You got to be an affiliate, Robert.
Liking and subscribing, it would really help us out.
That's fun.
All right. Before we cut the live, Jeremy, I don't know if you probably haven't seen this, but this is where we have the guests sort of quickly run through the segments that they see. Robert's going to come in hot and be like, "Wow, fun show, whatever," and then kick it over to you. And then you're going to run through and maybe add like a little bit of context to these various different segments.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do my best to remember all of this because I was kind of just shooting from the hip the whole time. So
that's all we do here, baby. Just aim and squeeze. All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of the DTC show where we have another fellow Austinite. We go through all the things, and Jeremy's going to tell us about all the things we just went through.
Let's see. I'm Jeremy, and I introduced myself in 10 seconds poorly, but not as poorly as Nick Shackelford. The news of the week. We got into some arguments about whether or not OpenAI is going to kill us with Skynet bots. SAS Survivor, I correctly pointed out the notion is terrible and was rebuked by a bunch of cult members.
Erroneous.
Rant Wheel, Raba had an epic takedown on tipping culture, which I really enjoyed. And we talked about how Temu is in fact ruining all of our lives. The merch, Corey didn't win. Austin did win. It was a beautiful t-shirt, incredible designer. You did a really good job with that. I actually really liked that. And then Cops and Raba is apparently like, slamming candy back with like reckless abandon, and also has a pretty neat little Shopify keyboard. So that was pretty exciting. So yeah, I think that about sums it up. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
10.
All right.
10 out of 10.
Great. So I'm gonna end the live, and I'll just see you in the green room quickly.